Okay. Big calls, Jordan. Do I want to go on the side? Look, it's hard to go past this order lineup. I'm not going to predict anything, and then I can't be wrong. We'll see what Melbourne can do. Looking for top seed. Looking.
Look, if Heist can do it, Melbourne can as well.
In their group. That's it, though, isn't it? Oh, what a great way to start this off.
This is bad. Order need to drop, and they haven't in time. Yuki gets picked off. It's a one-for-one trade, but Merit also down. That's just a bit of unfortunate positioning there for Quats as he did get knocked off. That's really going to spell a bit of trouble here for Order in this initial fight. Nicely done from Melbourne Mavericks, recognizing that and taking advantage of it.
Yep, going to be able to find themselves the point as well to start this off, and now staggering the rest of Order here. Provide themselves a little bit more time, a couple more percentage points here on Ruins. Anything is possible.
Quats has done a lot of damage in that fight, though. Look at him. 90% already of the Earth Shatter. That's going to be a very early Earth Shatter. Unexpected, perhaps, for Melbourne Mavericks if he can get it off quickly in this fight. Catch out Fluoro or Forbles. Take one of them out of the fight. Delete those support ults before they have an impact. That's the win condition here for Order. It'll be a tough fight nonetheless, with both supports having ults for Melbourne Mavericks, but still winnable.
Yeah, Melbourne holding strong for now. Soundberry going to come out for them, and Yuki going to go down. So, another fight going in the favor of Melbourne, and your 3-1 prediction.
Quats got cancelled there as well.
Just saying that, you know, it's not looking at, I know it's early days.
Quats got cancelled by the Shield Bash, but that was never a fight that Order should have won anyway. It's not the end of the world. Hunter and Merit have charged up in that one, and now we're looking a little bit more even when it does come to the ult economy on both sides. This is where Melbourne Mavericks really need to start to get a little bit concerned. Order are going to push and really commit to this fight.
Graviton Surge going to come through, looking for a self-destruct in the middle. This one's coming out from Order. They don't get the kills. It's not going to be great for them.
Demec's good.
Yeah, gets demec'd. And it means that there's no self-destruct coming out from Melbourne. So this might be costly for them. Up to 77%. Order looking to bring it back, and they will.
Excellent focus onto Mini. As soon as he gets shield bashed, he gets deleted. Much better fight for Order. Really showing their class in that one. Both teams putting equal amounts into it. But in the end, it's Order that come out with the advantage, and Unter even manages to hang on to the sound barrier. Doesn't need it in the last fight, which is a great benefit for Order coming into this. They really needed one of those support ultimates to go through to keep themselves alive in the next fight, and that's what they've got.
Yeah, because Melbourne literally only need to win one fight here. And they'll probably find themselves at 100%. So this next one is crucial, as with every other fight.
Almost goes down, but survives.
Going to walk their way on to the point. Sound barrier comes out. Forbles unfortunately goes down for Melbourne. And this is going to be a fight win heading across to Order. Going to start feeding them a fair bit of ultimate charge as well, Jordan.
Merit with the 3 kills, but you have to give credit to Quats as well. A fantastic Earth Shatter out from him. Hits almost all of Melbourne Mavericks, and he also builds 77% of the ultimate just off that one fight. Order, they're doing a very, very good job now that they have control at this point, and it's filling me with a little bit of confidence, Ben. You said I should be worried about that 3-1 prediction, but right now, from what I'm seeing, definitely not.
Still, Melbourne only need another fight. Order only up to 60% right now. One good Earth Shatter from Mini could settle the score. They're going to charge on in. Adam almost goes down, going to get demec'd. I don't know if the self-destruct came out in the middle or not. There's a self-destruct for Melbourne. Sound barrier coming out from Unter. No one going to go down this time either. So we say that both defeaters are picked up, and Mini is found out. So it's a 1-for-1 for 1-for-1, and finally Order start to get a little bit of momentum.
Whoa, boop. It's great work from Unter in that fight. Hanging on to the sound barrier for so long. He has absolute faith in Merit as well to use the Transcendence first, so there's no real problems for Order doubling down on the support ultimates or anything like that. A very, very nicely played out fight in what really was quite a chaotic one. And looking good right now for Order as they start to take the advantage. No ults to retake this with for Melbourne Mavericks either. And Jordation almost has the grab.
Into overtime, Graviton Surge available. Quats and Mini both down. No Reinhardt now. So it's up to the rest of the tanks to keep their teams alive. And it looks to me like it's going to be Order. Melbourne with only 3 players alive. Yeah, they had a lot of shields, but that will soon be removed, as will those players. And Order should find themselves a win here to make it 1-0 on Ilios starting off on Ruins.
Yeah, literally the grab, the difference there for Order. Jordation having that at the perfect time, and Fluoro didn't quite have the sound barrier up. If he would have had it as the grab came down, could have potentially been a different story, as both teams were able to trade effectively for the Reinhardts. End of the day, though, Order doing just a little bit more work there than Melbourne Mavericks. A close thing for Melbourne Mavericks, but it kind of felt like once Order was in control of that map, it didn't really seem like Melbourne Mavericks had a great chance to retake it. It was only because of the initial sort of mispositioning, or it wasn't even really a mispositioning from Quats. I think he got knocked off. But whatever the case, that initial fight that went the way of Melbourne Mavericks gave them a lot of control, gave them a lot of tempo. But as soon as it was back in the favor of Order, we saw some semblance of control returned once again to this matchup. Back into the second round now, though, onto Well. And there's nothing too crazy on here. No funny business.
No Orisses either. That's disappointing, but, you know, we'll take it how it is, I suppose. As you said, Jordan, once Order had control, they did not lose it.
Oh, that's a huge pick.
And wow,
just gets
they're going to start off with control now. The Reinhardt removed.
It's almost like
from
didn't
this
exist.
first fight. Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, that's a huge boot from Fluoro, though.
Wow.
And Winter gets Yuki. What?
How is this even possible?
Fluoro's gone nuts.
Talking about finding the good picks, Jordan. Melbourne bringing it back. We thought that one Reinhardt gone was a fight won here for Order, but that is clearly not the case.
That definitely should have been a fight won by Order, but they just misposition around the well, and Fluoro takes advantage of that. Well, Order on the back foot to begin with once again. Let's see if they can come back into it, much like Ruins.
Charge going to come through there on the Reinhardt. It's Quat's going to go down this time. That's not the start that Order wanted.
Yeah, he was super low on HP, so he needed to try and do something, but oh, this is bad, in fact, for Order. Look at the ults that Melbourne Mavericks have. 25% already built up, so tough for Order to come back from this one. It's going to take them 2 or 3 fights to get that ult in the control, and so it might be only when we sort of hit overtime and 99% for Melbourne Mavericks that Order are really going to have a proper push back in. Jordation does almost have the grab, though.
They will push on to the point very quickly, forced back off, onto quite low, but it's actually Nox who goes down. The sound barrier coming out a little bit late. Graviton Surge going to come out here from Order. They're going to follow up with the number of kills. Melbourne going down. This fight's going to go in the way of Order, who will be able to pick up the point. Yeah,
just a little bit too late on the sound barrier there, Fluoro, and Nox goes down early on in the fight, so ends up being a pretty clean victory for Order, which is exactly what they needed to get the ball rolling back in their favor. And Fluoro has actually just wasted his sound barrier as well. Adam's going to be aware of that. He would have heard it. If I heard it, Adam did. You can see Fluoro's at 7%, so that is bad news for Melbourne Mavericks. These little things, little mistakes starting to creep into their gameplay. What am I talking about? Fluoro used it in the last fight.
Yeah, look, Jordan, I'm really not sure.
I saw him up in the air, like flinging around, and then I saw him on 7%.
Anyway, we'll go back to that in a bit. Anyway, self-destruct comes through. You're going to find Yuki, Earthshadow out as well, but Vorbles has a trance, can hold on to that. Should be enough to get Melbourne through this fight if they can clean up Order quickly enough. Jordation is low, but the rest of the team is staying alive. Jordation will go down with the ultimate there available.
You know what it was? It was Fluoro going, oh yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
You literally just said Fluoro used the ultimate too early, and then 3 seconds later.
I know. Ben, all I'm going to say is I haven't had lunch today, so there you go. That's my excuse.
Had some grapes.
I had grapes for lunch, yeah.
Should have ordered some Maccas, honestly. That would have been the smart choice.
Yes, I actually could go for some Maccas right now. Anyway, let's get back on topic. Let's not let that go too far down the rabbit hole. Order have lost control of the point. But coming back into this with the self-destruct grab combo, Quat has a Reinhardt Shatter as well, but no support ultimate, so very hard for Order to stay alive here through Melbourne's own self-destruct grab combo. 32% up on the board. Melbourne Mavericks, this is their round to lose.
The grab comes through. There's the self-destruct also, looking for the picks. Melbourne finding a number of kills here, and they will be able to hold on to the point. Order will be unsuccessful in capturing it back up to 95% at this point. Seems very unlikely that anyone from Order will be able to make it there in time. 99, there we go. You got Shadow going to come out from Quat. Why the heck not? It's 1 apiece here on Ilios. We're going to head to Lighthouse for the decider to see who gets that first one on the board. Melbourne is actually looking okay, Jordan. I think they're looking good enough to defeat Order in this situation.
Definitely. I'm not saying that there isn't a world which Melbourne Mavericks can't beat Order. No way. But I do think that Order have the highest skilled players on their team with more experience. So when the chips are down, when going gets tough, I think it's Order that have the advantage. But Melbourne Mavericks definitely putting them under the pump. Not a single one of these rounds has been an easy one so far for Order. Obviously, we've already seen Melbourne Mavericks pick up one on the board. Once again, Order rolling out with the same composition as Melbourne Mavericks. But 2 rounds have started off with Melbourne Mavericks having the advantage off the first fight. Let's see what Order can do here again. I don't want to start off 3 from 3 poorly.
Yeah, it makes life a little bit tougher if you can't win the initial skirmish, that is for sure. Unter trying to position himself in a way that maybe he can get that right click boop off. But as a result of doing that, feels like maybe it's allowed Melbourne a little bit more leeway for heals and whatnot.
Order's not very good at these first fights, are they? Melbourne Mavericks has won all 3, and I think I saw a statistic like 64% or something of the first round fights result in a victory on that particular round of control. So it's pretty considerable.
That's actually a relevant statistic. Better than the 75% of teams who win State of Origin 1 end up winning the series. Which is a trash statistic.
Yeah.
Anyway, Quats going to swing the hammer, build up some charge, very easily gets to 100% there. Earthshatter now available. When's that coming through? That's the real question. There we go. It's a good one. We'll find Oily, but a lot of shields across all of Mavericks. Mini and Nox and Oily all about to have ultimates as well.
Unter still yet to use his
payload. Yeah.
86% for him. Graviton Surge comes out. Unter doesn't have the sound barrier. Yuki will go down.
Yeah.
So too does Quartz. Unfortunately for Unter, he just didn't quite have the sound barrier up in time there.
It looked like Order were an opportunity to win that fight. We saw Mini going down without using the ulti there. But in the end, it didn't matter.
Yeah, well, Melbourne Mavericks had 2 support ultimates and Order didn't. The job gets more and more difficult for Order. Every second that passes is a second that Melbourne Mavericks can use if this does flip back over to Order to rebuild their own ults for the retake. It's a good sound barrier from Unter, but what can Melbourne Mavericks do with it?
Looking for the first pick. You can see Oily just on the high ground, actually not defending anything at all, just trying to do damage onto the tank, but it's Mini who gets found out first. Maybe this is an opportunity for Order to bring this back, get themselves onto the point, and at 85%, they finally stem the flow, but they have a lot of work to do.
Definitely a lot of work to do. That said, Order do win a pretty clean fight there, really only costing the grab and the sound barrier, so they've left themselves a lot of tools to play with. Melbourne Mavericks do have plenty of time here, though, to regain that advantage.
One fight is all it takes, but heck, one fight was all they needed on Ruins as well, I think, Jordan, and they weren't able to do it. There's the Earthshatter. That's a good one. And Order
exactly
will win that fight. I think they threw out, what, just the one ulti? Yeah, that's great. That's a perfect result here for Order.
Exactly. Is this going to be the same case as what we saw on Ruins, where Order, once they had control of the point, once they had the momentum, they were not going to give it back to Melbourne? I wonder. Melbourne will have 5 ultimates for this fight, but really it all just comes down to maybe 1 or 2 misplaced ones, or Order with a perfect combo. It really just shuts it down. Adam's been spotted there, has to back away. Melbourne Mavericks coming from the high ground this time. A change up.
Yeah, want to fight it in the open, and that is a great shatter.
Better trance, though, from Merit.
Yeah, not going to find any kills as a result of the Earth Shatter, unfortunately, for Melbourne. 2 big self-destructs. The question is, who gets found out? Well, it's going to be Melbourne getting the win there. This might be enough to get them across the line. We'll see how quickly they can clean up the remaining 3. Very quickly is the answer. They'll get it back on.
At least Unter's been able to build up the sound barrier in that fight. If they can get into this one without getting shattered before they get to the point, it's still winnable for Order. Need to get that sound barrier to engage the fight, and someone touches and then win the fight from there.
All right, their last shot to make this work. Sound barrier will come out for Order. That's the start that they wanted here. The rally going to be used by Winter as well. Earthshatter comes through, doesn't seem to find anyone, however.
Oh
but Nox
my
is
God!
found 2. Will Quats be able to bring it back? Quats and Yuki both finding frags. Much more successful Earthshatter coming out of Order. They'll be able to retake this back, and now it's up to Melbourne for one last shot.
That might be the best Earthshatter we've actually seen this season. Quats, what a hero for Order. Unter goes down early in the fight. The D-Met comes across to Adam. It looks like it's all lost for Order, and then Quads, he just puts them all on the ground and then in the ground as well.
Yeah.
There's going to be another Earthshatter for Quads in this fight as well.
You would not expect to see it now. You just do not think it's going to be there.
Oh, dude!
That is huge. 2 incredible Earthshatters, to be fair. The second time around, they were like, there is no way that Earthshatter's going to be up. Well, unfortunately, you were wrong. Order 2-1 here on Ilios. To be fair, it could have gone either way, but Order coming up with the goods at the hands, I think, of Quats in particular.
Quats is the man.
Saved the day.
That was incredible. All right, well, that's a really, really nice performance out from both teams on Control. We have got a tantalizing series for ourselves here, I think. It comes down to a massive, massive play out from Order in the end there to actually win that map. For all intents and purposes, it was actually looking like Melbourne Mavericks were going to win that one.
They were playing better overall.
I think so, yeah.
Individual skill coming out from Quats, and then the second time around, I honestly don't think they expected that there was going to be another Earthshatter. Like, it's almost inconceivable that it's available already.
I mean, but that's the thing that you have to be aware of against a team like Order with individuals like that. They are going to make plays. You know, how much we talked about, for example, Yuki last season being able to make plays for Darksided. Haven't really seen him do too much this season. Obviously, just being on the Brick Eater, you can't get as much of that exciting impact than you can on a Hanzo or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're certainly going to be seeing it from Quads. We're going to be seeing it from Adam, the 2 tank players. Jordation as well, fairly solid on the Zarya. I mean, Merit, he's had his time to shine as well. Like, across the board, I'm going to go down the list. I got to say Unter as well, because he's the only one that I haven't said. So there you go, Unter. You get your shout out as well.
I feel like you have to get there eventually.
Yeah. But those individuals are going to be able to make plays that can turn the tide of a game. And that is such a good shout out.
Where did that
There was a
come
brick
from?
smash in there as well from Yuki as well. You got to give credit to him. Well, I didn't see if there was a brick smash. I wasn't actually watching, but I do see the assist there for him. So I'm going to assume that it was the brick smash.
And here's the other one.
But goodness me, what a shout out. I mean, what a passage of play really out from Order just there to win that. That is, like, they should have lost that, but somehow they find a way to win it.
Jordan, very excited here on the commentary desk.
I'm glad we've got a good game.
We do have a good game. No Bastion just yet.
No Bastion, no Junkrat, no May.
But great Earthshatters, as we like to see. So, we take a look, Jordan, at our great sheet of maps. What map do we expect to see here coming out from Melbourne?
Could be anything, really.
They won all of their games on Hybrid.
Could be anything, really, because yeah, they played Hollywood twice, Numbani twice. They've won both of them. I think looking at Order's performances on Numbani, they have a 3-0 there where they have actually lost on Hollywood. I'd probably be going Hollywood here if I'm Melbourne Mavericks. But, you know, that's just me looking at the stats. There's also a lot of things that you need to look at in the game. I'm sure that the guys on Melbourne Mavericks have been taking a look at how Order plays on both of these maps and what they think that they can exploit and where they think there's some weaknesses. So it may end up that we do see Numbani. For me, I'd be saying Hollywood, though. All
right, well, I'm going to hit my map button. Let's put this up. Great timing.
There we
Hollywood.
Go.
Oh, well.
Makes sense.
Look, if we take a look, yeah, exactly right. If you take a look at what Order has played, they played Hollywood once, Numbani 3 times, won 3 times on Numbani, lost once on Hollywood, whilst Mavericks are 2 from 2. That's a pretty easy decision. We're not, to be fair, we're not working with too much data here, are we, really, when you've only got 4 matches to work from, but it seems to add up at the end of the day when we go and make those predictions. They do seem to match up with the numbers from the rest of the season. And this is potential to be very close, actually. It could be one of the better matches of the entire season at this point. A lot to play for. That's the reality here. This isn't, yeah.
Not only do you avoid facing blank, but you also avoid being on the same side of the bracket as Sydney Drop Bears. So there's a lot riding on this first place in Group B. And I think Order as a team have a lot to prove this season, particularly for players like Adam and Unter, who have been in this roster for so long and have been unable to get to a season finals for so long. If they were to get there and then beat the Sydney Drop Bears or beat whoever it is,
wouldn't that be a way to play? Order going to walk out here behind a quad, straight on to the point. They're going to have control of the payload for now. Looking to follow that up by finding a couple of picks, and well, or at least the first one to go down. So that's not a bad start here for Order at all. Potential now to follow this up. Nox very, very low. You can see Quat's trying to dive on in with that hammer. Nox going to go down to Jordation. Yuki finds 1, Yuki finds 2. This should be the end here for Mavericks on defense. Point A is going to go across to Order and do so on their very first push. It doesn't get much better than that.
Very nicely done. And a very prolonged fight out for Order there as well. So look at them all. Almost 6 ults built in the last fight. Merritt getting work done as he usually does. He is known as a bit of a Zenyatta highlight reel. Well, this has gone perfectly for Order. You couldn't have really asked for much more. What they end up using in this next fight will
Well, that's it. Looking to try and win this fight without investing too much. Looking for an Earth Shatter potentially as well from Quads. And look, everyone's a little bit over the place. Going to see... Is there a grab coming out there from Jordan?
Oh, it's a big shatter again.
Oh, charges straight on through as well. Mini going to go down there to Merritt. The rest of the team should follow. It's only a matter of time, and the payload will get moving. So 2 from 2 fights now have been won by Order. 4.5 minutes on the clock as the payload continues. This is a great start for them.
Couldn't have been better. Could not have been better. They've barely stopped at all. Jordan will push on forward, try and build as much of the grab before this next fight as possible. Might even get it in the next fight, which will be fantastic for Order, but they do have both support ults. So, real possibility that once those support ults come out, Order take another prolonged fight.
Oh, now that's a good Earth Shatter right underneath the payload. Maybe not enough damage to follow it up. Adam going to get D-Mac.
Well, Merritt with the trance keeps his team mostly alive.
And Hunter's still sitting there as well with the sound barrier. They will drop back.
Need that mech.
Adam very close, already up to 80% with the Bunny Blaster. Almost goes down.
That would have been a pretty big stagger, actually.
Yeah, it would be less than ideal.
But he'll get it back in a sec, and just in time as well, because Order are coming up on the Earth Shatter. We're looking for that in this next fight.
Do you go Earth Shatter self-destruct or Graviton Surge self-destruct? There's the Earth Shatter coming out. A counter.
Eden.
Yeah, maybe.
Nicely done from Adam.
Great work. There's the grab. Available now for Jordation, but not going to need it. Adam's getting all the picks. Order going to win another fight. They lost the Diva mech. They fell back and then re-engaged and what?
Is he going to be able to do it? Nope. Exclamation mark Jordation in the Discord, boys. Looks like Melbourne Mavericks want to recontest this, but they're not going to be given the opportunity.
Not with a grab, and well, that self-destruct's probably not in the right position, but
not necessary.
Try hard.
Jordation is building a nation, and it's a cemetery. 4 people dead. Nicely done.
That's great, good. That was good. All right, look at this time. 4 minutes on the third phase here of Hollywood. You rarely see that. And considering that that Melbourne picked this map and it looked like maybe Order were going to struggle on it potentially, clearly not the case. Very impressive on attack. They've been in control almost the entire time here on attack. And it's actually looked fantastic from them.
Yeah, it certainly has. This is a Transcendence from 4 balls. Great Earth Shatter. It's going to connect onto Adam. He'll get D-Mech to the Transcendence from Merritt. Not enough to keep him up. Down does come out from Quats as well.
Yeah, not finding what he needed to. But the rest of the team going to follow through just in time as well. Melbourne starting to fall apart here on defense. Well, I guess they fell apart on defense a couple of minutes ago. But on this third phase, it's happening again.
Still not done and dusted just yet for Order. This is where the going really gets tough as you push right into the spawn. As you don't have that spawn advantage. Melbourne Mavericks do have a lot to play with now as they push in. Ready for the final defense. Rally out, but grab
first. There's a big grab going to fly the Diva right through the middle. That's a great opportunity here for Adam to do a lot of damage and at the same time build up that self-destruct. Melbourne going to throw out a self-destruct of their own. Not going to find anyone.
4 balls.
Yeah.
Trans a little bit late this time.
Just a little bit late.
4 or 5 players already dead for Melbourne Mavericks.
Just using it to hold out for as long as possible. As he goes down, the VIP will get there. The rest of the team tries to jump on board as well, but they will deliver. The director nice and close next to his trailer. Nicely done from Order. That was actually very well played from them. Really,
very fast time.
Look, that's better than what you probably would have expected against any of the other teams here in this group.
2 minutes 45 left on the clock. That is a bucket load of time for Order. Melbourne Mavericks are starting to get a little bit worried now, I think. After losing map 1, okay, it was a close map, fair enough. You probably could have won it, but you didn't. Still plenty more chances. But if they do go down 2-0, which based on that time from Order, you know, it's not, okay, that's a 2-0 for Order, but Melbourne Mavericks need to, A, post a very good time for themselves, and then potentially, once they get into the overtime, win there.
There's a lot of work to be done.
There's a huge mountain to climb now for Melbourne Mavericks. Order have really put a statement out with that attacking side.
To be fair, I feel like Order needs to do this, though. They need a convincing victory here to really start their momentum heading into playoffs, because we came into Season 3, into Group B, saying this is going to be Order's group. And well, by the end of today, maybe it is, but they haven't earned that right yet.
Not yet, but they're on their way to doing that. And here comes the attack from Melbourne Mavericks. Again, no change-ups. It's going to be GOATS competition for them. GOATS on both sides. In Order did have a very convincing win last week against Freshman Class, but I'm not sure how much to write home about that is. It's not going to be as big of a deal as if, for example, they would have 4-0 Melbourne Mavericks today.
All right, here we go. Melbourne pushing out on attack. Quite a feat required from them to achieve this with at least 2:45 on the clock. They want to do it, though, before the overtime ticks in at the very latest. Find themselves a chance to... It starts here with point A on their very first attack. They'll be looking for the first pick, and they will be unsuccessful. Mini, the first one to go down. Really good heals onto Quats there from Order. He was very close to going down, but does survive the shield pack. The perfect time. The armor pack, I should say. In Order to win a pretty convincing fight result. The only player dropping is Yuki. And again, big numbers on the board there for Order. 73% for Yuki, 86% for Merit. Always seems to charge the Transcendence up very quickly, but then Forbles has as well. Yeah, already up to 100%. Plus Fluoro, a little bit earlier than Unta has his. So potential for Melbourne to make the most of this. They're going to go in first with the sound barrier. Merit comes out with the counter. That'll give Unta enough time to get a sound barrier of his own. Fluoro pops his. Now it's going to be Order who has the advantage in terms of support options. We'll see if and when Order choose to use it. They don't need it. It's Adam with the self-destruct instead. Yeah. And that was quite a costly push from Melbourne. Yeah, they put a lot into it. An expensive push. Really, really smart from Unta to hang on to the sound barrier as well. Mini charging up the Shadow at this point a little bit slower than Quats, but that's what's going to be the big sticking point for this one. Blocked very nicely by Mini there. Yeah, a little bit unsuccessful there is Quats, but can they follow it up with anything else? Of course, they still have this sound barrier that Unta is holding on to. The chase is on. Oh, they're pushing a long way forward. They want to make the most of it. This is a little bit less than ideal for Melbourne. They're fighting from their spawn. Well, what they really want is Jordation's grab, and he's actually going to go down. Overcommitment from Order this time. They can't get out in time. But with Mini picked up, this might be enough for Order to keep them going. The sound barrier will come out from Adam again, knowing that Merit's there with a trance available, and Melbourne looking like they're going to get picked up here. Self-destruct comes through. Not going to find anyone there. It's 2 grabs eaten in this map by Adam. 4 balls and Winter onto the point right now. Order still needing to rotate in. The contest is there from Unta, but he'll go down. Jordation is on the point. This is looking a bit messy right now for Melbourne, or rather for Order. That's a great Earth Shatter coming out from Mini, but it's Quats who's finding the picks here, Jordan. And he's got Shatter as well. Yeah, he does. That's going to catch Mini off guard, but Forball's going to do what he can to save the day. Sound barrier coming out from Fluoro as well. Oh, how they don't get a tick with there. No defensive ultimates to work with, but a lot on the offensive side. And look at this, 1 minute on the clock. They have not even found 33%. This is the dominating fashion in which I wanted to see Order to win these maps if we were going to come into playoffs thinking that they were someone who could take down the Drop Bears. Yeah, Order most definitely flexing their muscles here on Hollywood. Trying to get a film star contract by the sounds of things, but it's been a good performance so far from them today. Really, really good stuff. A huge amount of ultimates for Order now. Merit, that Transcendence. Here we go, looking for the hole-in-one combo. Actually going to get stolen out, though, by Merit and Quats, who jump in early and find the kills. Adam's just like, come on, guys, let me get some kills here, please. Give me a break. You know how this is supposed to go. But they just kill him before the self-destruct even does the damage. Yeah. But at this point, it doesn't look like Melbourne Mavericks are going to be able to push on through. It's going to be difficult. Quats has an Earth Shatter as well.
A better chance than any before it now.
Yeah.
Although two
Here we
support
go,
ults for
around
Order.
the corner. As soon as he jumps around the corner.
That's fat.
Yeah, look, it was kind of as a consequence of the nature of what it was, right? You know that the Reinhardt needed to dive through. You knew that you didn't have enough time. And as soon as he dives around the corner, as soon as you see him booping around, the Earth Shatter comes out. There's very little, unfortunately, that Melbourne can do there. Order going to 3-0 here on Hollywood. Going to be 2-0 up, heading into halftime as well. Look, Ilios was a little bit scrappy. They got there just in the nick of time, didn't they? With some great players from Quats, but Hollywood was an entirely different movie, Jordan.
Yeah, definitely. This is looking a little bit worse now for Melbourne Mavericks. I said 3-1 at worst. We're well on our way to that for Order, but I think Order's definitely looking like they want that 4-0 just to really put their mark on it.
They need to, though. They don't need to, but they need to.
Yeah, they don't need to. They just need to get a win. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Would be a big win for Order if they were able to get the 4-0. And yeah, definitely doing a good job today. Adam, again, very impressive on the Diva. Some big grab eats out from him. Quats has been super solid today as well. I think everything seems to be working very well for Order. The Cogs are turning in unison.
Look at that. Some great plays. They never looked... There was no point in all of Hollywood where it didn't look like Order had control, both on attack and on defense.
I would agree. I didn't even see a single push there. Okay,
Yeah,
there
you
was
don't often see that.
There was one point where it looked like Melbourne Mavericks might actually be able to get the advantage, but as soon as Quats came back into the fight off the respawn, that was sort of swept away by Order pretty easily again.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's why I said, like, how is not even a single tick gone the way of Melbourne Mavericks there? It just seems impossible that that is going to be the case. But Order, super solid there on Hollywood, and now we have to head into the next map, and it's a bit of a struggle, I think, for Melbourne Mavericks. They need to reverse sweep the series now.
A lot of work to be done here by Melbourne if they're going to bring this back and lock themselves in first spot. For now, Order's looking strong as we head into halftime, but we'll be back on the other side of this break.